Arjun stepped out of his tall office building late in the evening. The streets of the city were quieter than usual. A soft wind moved the dust around, and the yellow lights of the road looked tired, just like him. He loosened his tie and walked toward his car. His driver waited, holding the door open, but something caught Arjun's eye. Near the big black gate of his office, a little girl sat on the footpath. She had a small broken doll in her hands. Her dress was old but clean, and her hair looked as if it had been tied in a hurry. She could not have been more than 7 or 8. Arjun had seen many poor children on the streets before. Usually, he would give some coins or just walk past, thinking it was not his problem. But something about this little girl made him stop. She was not begging. She was quietly humming to her doll, as if trying to comfort it. Arjun walked closer. "Do you need money?" he asked, pulling out his wallet without thinking. The girl looked up. Her eyes were large and bright, but there was a kind of sadness in them. She shook her head. "I don't need money," she said softly. "I just need a hug like your daughter." Arjun froze. He did not expect those words. He looked around, confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. The girl pointed at a photograph stuck to the back seat of Arjun's car. It was a picture of his own daughter, Anu, smiling with missing front teeth. The driver had placed it there months ago, after a school event. "You hugged her in that picture," the girl said. "No one hugs me like that." For a moment, Arjun did not know what to say. He had not even noticed that photograph for a long time. He could not remember the last time he hugged Anu. Work had taken most of his days and nights. He loved her, yes, but he always thought there would be more time later. "What's your name?" Arjun asked. "Ronnie," the little girl replied, hugging her broken doll tightly. Arjun felt an unfamiliar sting in his chest. He tried to smile. "Do you want me to buy you a new doll?" Ronnie shook her head again. "No, I just need a hug like your daughter." Her words stayed in the air like soft thunder. They did not fade. Arjun put his wallet back inside his pocket. He did not know how to react. Slowly, he bent down and patted her head, but it felt weak and empty. Ronnie looked at him as if waiting for something more, but Arjun's hands froze. He stood up, cleared his throat, and said, "It's late. You should go home." "My home is far," Ronnie said simply. She pointed to the other side of the road. "I wait for my mother here. She cleans offices at night." Arjun nodded but did not speak. Something inside him felt heavy. He got into his car, but as the driver started the engine, he looked back. Ronnie was still there, sitting with her broken doll, humming softly as if nothing had happened. The car moved through the city streets, but Arjun's mind stayed behind at the office gate. He could not forget the little girl's voice, "I just need a hug like your daughter." When Arjun reached his mansion, the grand lights greeted him, but the house felt empty. His daughter Anu was sitting at the dining table, playing with her crayons while the nanny served food. She looked up with a smile. "Papa, you're late again." "Yes, a long meeting," Arjun muttered, loosening his tie. He kissed her forehead quickly, but his phone rang at the same time. He answered the call, talking about numbers and contracts, while Anu went back to coloring. At dinner, Anu tried to tell him about her day at school, how she won a small art prize. But Arjun barely listened, nodding without looking up from his phone. Later that night, as Arjun sat alone in his study, Ronnie's words came back to him again and again. He thought of Anu's soft voice at dinner. He thought of how he had rushed past her without even noticing the small trophy she placed near his plate. For the first time in a long while, Arjun felt something was deeply wrong. He had given his family everything money could buy, but had he given them himself? Outside, the wind blew softly, and the city lights glowed in silence. In another part of the city, little Ronnie fell asleep on her mother's lap, still holding her broken doll. And in his grand house, Arjun lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to shake off a little girl's simple wish, not for money, not for toys, but just for a hug. The next morning, Arjun woke up earlier than usual. But instead of feeling fresh, his head was heavy with thoughts. He kept hearing the little girl's voice, "I just need a hug like your daughter." As he sat at the breakfast table, Anu was already eating her toast. She smiled when she saw him. "Papa, you're not late today," she said with surprise. "Yes," Arjun forced a smile. "Thought I'd have breakfast with my little princess." Anu giggled but looked at him carefully. She was not used to him being around at this hour. Most mornings, he left before she even woke up. The nanny usually packed her school bag and dropped her off. Arjun poured himself tea, but his eyes wandered to a small drawing stuck on the fridge. It was of a house, a sun, and two stick figures holding hands, clearly Anu's work. But there was only one tall figure next to the small one. There was no second parent in the picture. "Who's this?" Arjun asked, pointing to the drawing. "That's me and Mama," Anu said simply. "You're always at work, so I didn't draw you." The words pierced Arjun's heart. He looked down, unable to answer. He had always told himself he worked hard for his family so they would have comfort, good schools, everything they needed. But what if they needed him more than any of that? Later that day, at the office, Arjun sat through meetings, but his mind was not on the numbers or the charts. Between calls, he looked outside at the busy road, hoping to catch a glimpse of Ronnie. She wasn't there. By evening, he could not stop himself. He walked out of the building and searched near the gate where he had seen her. The same shopkeeper who sold tea nearby was arranging his cups. "Have you seen a little girl here?" Arjun asked. "She had a broken doll. Her name is Ronnie." The shopkeeper nodded slowly. "Yes, she comes sometimes. Waits for her mother who works cleaning offices around here. Quiet child. Doesn't ask for anything. Do you know where she lives?" Arjun asked. The shopkeeper shrugged. "Not exactly. Somewhere in the small lanes behind the market. But she doesn't stay long. Her mother picks her up late at night." Arjun thanked him and waited for a while, but there was no sign of Ronnie. Eventually, he returned home, but the uneasiness inside him kept growing. That night, Anu sat at the dining table again, waiting. She had drawn another picture this time, 3 figures, herself, her mother, and her grandmother. Still no father. She seemed happy, but there was a gap, like a missing piece of a puzzle. "Papa, will you come to my school this Friday? We have a music show," she asked shyly. Arjun hesitated. Friday was the day of an important investor meeting. He opened his mouth to say he would try, but Anu looked down before he could answer, as if she already knew he would not come. "I'll be there," Arjun said suddenly. His own words surprised him. Anu's face lit up with a wide smile. "Promise?" she asked. "Promise," Arjun said firmly, though a small voice inside whispered that his business partners would be furious if he missed the meeting. After dinner, as Anu went to bed, Arjun walked through his grand house. Every room was filled with fine furniture, glowing lights, and expensive art. Yet everything felt cold and distant. What was the point of such wealth if the people you loved felt alone? In his study, he opened a drawer and pulled out an old photo album. He saw pictures of Anu as a baby, tiny and laughing in his arms. He remembered holding her for hours, promising himself he would always protect her. When did he let that promise slip away? His thoughts went back to Ronnie, a child who had nothing, yet asked for no money, only warmth. If a stranger's child could feel lonely enough to ask for a hug, what about his own daughter at home? The next morning, Arjun told his driver, "If you see that little girl near the office again, tell me immediately." "Yes," "Sir," the driver replied, surprised at his boss's sudden interest in a street child. All day, Arjun tried to focus on work, but every sound of the city outside distracted him. By evening, he drove himself around the small lanes near the market, searching for a familiar face. But there were only busy workers, vendors shouting prices, and children running barefoot. No Ronnie. When he finally reached home, tired and frustrated, Anu came running to him. "Papa, look. I made another drawing," she said, showing him a picture of a big tree with two figures under it. This time, she had drawn him, holding her hand. Arjun smiled and hugged her tight, really hugged her, for the first time in a long while. Anu froze in surprise and then hugged him back, giggling. As he tucked her into bed that night, Arjun whispered, "I'm going to make more time for you, princess." "Okay, Papa," Anu said sleepily, already half dreaming. But when Arjun turned off the light and stepped out of her room, the image of little Ronnie sitting on the cold pavement flashed in his mind again. He had found his daughter's smile tonight, but he could not rest until he found that lonely child too. 2 days passed, and Arjun still had not seen Ronnie. Each morning he looked out of his car window, scanning the street near his office gate. Each evening he stepped out personally, walking a little farther than usual. But there was no sign of the little girl with the broken doll. It was strange, he had never cared about any stranger this way before. He could not explain to himself why her words had touched him so deeply. Maybe it was because she reminded him of Anu. Maybe it was because her simple wish, "I just need a hug like your daughter," had shaken him more than any business loss ever could. On Wednesday evening, after a long meeting, Arjun asked his driver to take a slower route through the side streets near the market. The road was narrow and noisy, full of vendors calling out prices. Children ran barefoot between carts, laughing and chasing one another. Arjun kept looking at every small face. Finally, he stopped at the tea shop near his office where he had spoken to the shopkeeper earlier. "Bia," Arjun said politely, "have you seen that girl again?" "The one I asked about, Ronnie." The shopkeeper shook his head. "No, Sahib. She hasn't come these 2 days. Maybe her mother is working in another building this week. They move around a lot." "Do you know her mother's name?" Arjun asked. The man thought for a moment. "I think people call her Sita. She cleans offices at night. But I don't know where they stay. Somewhere behind the market, near the small temple." Arjun thanked him and decided to search on foot. He walked through the crowded lanes, asking small shop owners and food vendors if they knew Sita or her daughter Ronnie. Most people shook their heads. Some said they had seen many children like that, but could not say where they lived. As the sun went down, the street lights flickered on. Arjun felt a little helpless. For years he had been used to giving orders and solving problems with money. But here, his wealth seemed useless. He could not just buy answers about where Ronnie lived. At home that night, Anu was waiting again with her small trophy from school. "Papa, you forgot to see it yesterday," she said, holding it high. Arjun picked her up and twirled her gently. "I see it now, princess. And I'm proud of you." Anu laughed happily. "You really mean it?" "Yes, I do," Arjun said, kissing her cheek. But even as he smiled, a part of his mind was still on the dark streets behind the market, wondering where Ronnie was and whether she was safe. Later, when Anu went to bed, Arjun sat alone in his study. He opened his laptop to work, but the numbers on the screen blurred. He kept remembering Ronnie's small face, her old dress, and the way she hugged her broken doll. He also remembered the way she had asked if he hugged his daughter. The truth was painful, he hadn't, not until yesterday. The next day, Arjun decided to leave the office earlier. He told his assistant, "Cancel my evening calls. I have something important to do." "But sir, the investors cancel them," Arjun said firmly. It was the first time in years he had chosen something other than work during business hours. By 5 o'clock, Arjun was walking again through the narrow lanes. This time, he went deeper, past the small temple where women sat selling flowers. He asked an old woman, "Do you know a lady named Sita who cleans offices at night? She has a daughter, Ronnie." The woman nodded slowly. "Yes, I've seen them. They live 2 streets down, near the corner where the blue cart stands. But they're not always there. Sometimes they sleep at different places." "Thank you, Maji," Arjun said with relief. Following her directions, he reached a broken row of rooms made from tin sheets and wood. Children played outside, and men carried heavy sacks into a nearby warehouse. Arjun looked around carefully. He saw a little figure sitting near a wall, a girl with the same broken doll. "Ronnie," Arjun called gently. She looked up, surprised. Her eyes brightened when she recognized him. "You came back," she said with a shy smile. Arjun walked over and knelt down so they were at the same height. "I've been looking for you. Where have you been these 2 days?" "My mother worked in another building, far from here," Ronnie said. "I wait for her here when she's late." Arjun noticed her thin arms and tired face. "Did you eat anything?" he asked. "Only some bread," Ronnie said, hugging her doll tighter. "It's okay. I'm used to it." Arjun felt his throat tighten. He wanted to give her money to buy food, but he remembered her words, "I don't need money. I just need a hug like your daughter." So instead, he opened his arms and said softly, "May I give you a hug, Ronnie?" Her eyes widened, and she nodded. Arjun hugged her gently, feeling how small and fragile she was. For a moment, the busy world around them faded. When they pulled apart, Ronnie asked curiously, "Did you hug your daughter?" "Yes," Arjun said quietly. "I did. And I'll keep hugging her every day." Ronnie smiled, as if that answer made her happy. Then she looked up the street. "My mother will come soon. Don't tell her I talk to strangers. She will scold me." Arjun nodded. "Don't worry. I just wanted to see you again." As he walked back to his car, Arjun's heart felt both heavy and light, heavy because of how much this child had to endure, and light because for the first time in years, he was beginning to understand what really mattered. The next evening, Arjun returned to the narrow street near the tin houses. He found Ronnie sitting on a low stone, rocking her broken doll as she hummed a tune. When she saw him, her face lit up with surprise. "You came again?" Ronnie said, standing quickly. "Of course I came," Arjun replied with a warm smile. "I wanted to see my little friend." She giggled. "You're rich. Why do you want to meet me?" Arjun paused. "Because sometimes even rich people forget what's important. You remind me." Ronnie tilted her head. "Important like what?" "Like giving hugs," Arjun said softly. Ronnie laughed, a small clear laugh. "Did you hug your daughter again?" "Yes, I did," Arjun answered. "And she hugged me back. I think she was very happy." "That's good," Ronnie said. "My father used to hug me too, before he went away." Her voice grew quiet. She looked down at her doll, holding it tighter. Arjun felt a pang in his heart. "Where did he go?" he asked gently. "I don't know," Ronnie whispered. "Mama says he had to leave. He doesn't come anymore." Arjun nodded slowly. He didn't ask more, not wanting to make her sad. Instead, he reached into his bag and brought out something wrapped in paper. "I saw your doll was hurt. May I fix her?" Ronnie's eyes widened. "Can you?" "I can try," Arjun said. He had taken the doll home secretly the night before when Ronnie wasn't looking. His driver had taken it to a shop that repaired toys. Now the doll had new arms, a stitched dress, and shiny black hair again. When Arjun handed it back, Ronnie gasped. "She's beautiful. Thank you." She hugged the doll and then suddenly hugged Arjun, too, surprising both of them. Arjun smiled, feeling warmth spread through his chest. It had been so long since a hug felt this pure. "You're welcome, little one," he said. A few minutes later, Ronnie's mother appeared at the end of the lane, carrying a bag of cleaning supplies. She looked tired but strong. Seeing Arjun, her eyes filled with suspicion. "Ronnie, who is this man?" she asked sharply. "He's nice, Mama," Ronnie said quickly. "He fixed my doll." Arjun stood respectfully. "Namaste, madam. My name is Arjun. I met your daughter outside my office. I just wanted to help." Sita frowned. "We don't take charity." Arjun shook his head. "I'm not here to give money. I wanted to thank your daughter. She reminded me to be a better father." Sita looked surprised. "What do you mean?" Arjun told her briefly how Ronnie's words had touched him, how they made him realize he hadn't been spending time with his own daughter. Sita's expression softened a little, though she still looked cautious. "We don't have much," Sita said slowly. "But I teach my child to keep her heart clean. If she helped you, then I'm glad." Arjun smiled gently. "She helped me more than you know." Before leaving, Arjun bent down to Ronnie's level. "I'll come visit again, if it's okay with your mother." Sita hesitated, then nodded once. "Just don't spoil her with money. She needs love, not coins." "I understand," Arjun said with respect. "And I agree." That night at home, Arjun felt lighter. When Anu came running to him with a drawing, he sat with her on the floor, asking about every color and line. Anu talked and talked, and Arjun listened like never before. "Papa, you're different these days," Anu said, hugging him. "Maybe I'm remembering what's important," Arjun replied, holding her close. For the next few days, Arjun visited Ronnie often. Sometimes he brought fruit. Sometimes he just sat and listened to her little stories. She told him about school, about how she helped her mother carry water, about the games she played with other children in the lane. One evening, Ronnie asked suddenly, "Do rich people ever feel lonely?" Arjun thought for a moment. "Yes. Sometimes very lonely." "But you have a big house," Ronnie said. "And a car. And a phone that talks." Arjun smiled sadly. "Even with all that, if no one hugs you, the house feels empty." Ronnie nodded as if she understood completely. Then she whispered, "I think you're lucky. You have a daughter. Don't forget to hug her, okay?" Arjun felt his eyes sting. "I won't forget," he promised. That night, as he tucked Anu into bed, Arjun thought of Ronnie again. Two little girls, one with every comfort money could buy, and one with nothing but a repaired doll, yet both needing the same thing, love. Before turning off the light, Anu said, "Papa, will you be there for my music show tomorrow?" Arjun kissed her forehead. "Yes, princess. I will be there." As he walked out of her room, Arjun made a silent vow. He would not fail his daughter again. And he would not let little Ronnie feel forgotten either. Somewhere in the quiet of the night, Arjun realized his life was changing, not because of any deal or contract, but because a small child had asked him for something money could never buy. The next day, Arjun kept his promise and attended Anu's school music show. He sat in the middle row of the auditorium, feeling slightly out of place among cheering parents, but when Anu appeared on stage, all his awkwardness vanished. She was wearing a blue dress and singing with her classmates, her face glowing with excitement. When the performance ended, Anu searched the crowd anxiously. The moment she saw Arjun waving, her whole face lit up. She ran to him after the show and threw her arms around him. "You really came, Papa," she said, breathless with joy. I told you I would, Arjun replied, hugging her tightly. He felt something warm in his chest, the kind of happiness no business meeting could give. That evening, after dropping Anu home, Arjun went straight to the small lane where Ronnie lived. She was sitting outside again, playing with the repaired doll. Look. Ronnie said proudly, holding up the doll. She's happy now. I named her Tara. That's a lovely name, Arjun said with a smile. He sat down beside her on the stone step, not caring that his expensive suit would get dusty. Did you hug your daughter again? Ronnie asked. Many times, Arjun said. And I went to her music show today. She was very happy. Ronnie's eyes sparkled. Good. I told you. Hugs make people strong. Arjun looked at her closely. What about you, Ronnie? Did you eat today? She nodded quickly, but Arjun noticed she looked tired. Just some rice Mama brought from work, she said. Over the next few days, Arjun visited more often. Sometimes he brought fruit or milk for Ronnie. Sometimes he simply sat and listened as she told stories about school and her friends. She spoke about sharing one pencil with two classmates, about running barefoot during games, about how she helped her mother carry water in buckets. One afternoon, while they were talking, Ronnie's doll slipped from her hands and fell on the ground. A small crack appeared near its arm again. Ronnie looked worried and hugged the doll tightly. Don't worry, Arjun said gently. I'll have it fixed again. No, Ronnie said quickly. She's okay. I don't want a new one. Arjun looked puzzled. Why not? I can buy you 100 dolls if you want. Ronnie shook her head. This one is special. Papa gave it to me before he went away. If I get a new doll, it won't feel the same. Arjun felt a lump in his throat. This little girl held on to something broken because of the love it carried, not because of how much it cost. That night, as he sat in his study at home, Arjun thought about her words. He realized how different her world was from Anu's, and yet, both children longed for the same thing, love and care. The next day, Arjun took the doll quietly when Ronnie wasn't looking and sent it for repair again, making sure it looked even better than before. When he returned it to her in the evening, Ronnie's face shone with happiness. She's perfect again. Ronnie said, hugging the doll and then, without thinking, hugging Arjun too. Thank you. Arjun smiled, feeling an unfamiliar warmth. You're welcome, little one. Meanwhile, at home, Anu was also beginning to notice the change in her father. He spent more time with her, helped with her homework, and even listened to her stories without checking his phone. One evening, while coloring, Anu asked, Papa, why are you happier these days? Arjun smiled. Maybe I remembered something. I forgot that family is more important than anything else. Anu nodded seriously. Good. I like this Papa better. Arjun laughed and hugged her close. But even as he held his daughter, his thoughts went back to Ronnie. She was happy now, but her life was still hard. Her mother worked long hours, and Ronnie often waited alone on the street late at night. One rainy evening, Arjun stopped by their lane and found Ronnie sitting under a piece of tin to stay dry. She was shivering slightly but still smiling when she saw him. Why are you out here? Arjun asked, concerned. Mama is still working, Ronnie said. I wait here so we can walk home together. Arjun crouched beside her, using his umbrella to shield her from the rain. Do you get scared waiting alone? Ronnie shook her head bravely. Sometimes. But I have Tara with me. She keeps me company. Arjun's heart ached. This little girl had learned to comfort herself with a broken doll while he, a millionaire, had once failed to comfort his own daughter even when she was right in front of him. That night, as Arjun tucked Anu into bed, he made up his mind. He would not only change as a father, he would also make sure Ronnie never had to sit in the rain waiting for love. He kissed Anu's forehead and whispered, "Papa's going to do something good, princess." Anu smiled sleepily. "Like a hero." "Maybe," Arjun said softly. "But real heroes give hugs, not just gifts." Rani opened her eyes early in the morning. The first thing she saw was the soft ceiling of the guest room. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered this was the house of Arman, the kind man she met yesterday. The room smelled fresh, like flowers. A small tray with a glass of milk and some bread was kept near her bed. She sat up slowly, surprised. No one had ever taken care of her like this. She washed her face and drank the milk. She felt her heart become warm, not because of food, but because of kindness. She whispered, "Thank you, God," even though no one was listening. Downstairs, Arman was already waiting. He smiled as Rani came down. "Good morning, little one. Did you sleep well?" Rani nodded shyly. "Yes, thank you." Arman noticed her eyes were brighter today. "I have to go to the office for some time," he said gently, "but Meena will stay here with you. Later, I will show you something special." Rani's face lit up. "Something special?" Arman only smiled. "You will see." At the office, Arman found it hard to concentrate. The image of Rani's hopeful face stayed in his mind. He thought about how much his daughter Zara would have loved to meet Rani. They were almost the same age. "Zara," he whispered to himself, feeling a deep ache in his heart. Back at home, Meena tried to make Rani feel comfortable. She gave her crayons and paper. "Draw something," Meena said warmly. Rani started drawing a small house with flowers and a smiling sun. Meena watched quietly. "What are you drawing, dear?" "My dream," Rani said softly. "A home where no one is angry, and there is always food, and love." Meena's heart filled with sadness. She placed her hand on Rani's shoulder. "You are a strong girl." By afternoon, Arman returned. "Ready for a small trip?" he asked. Rani's eyes shone. "Yes." He took her in his car. She looked out of the window, amazed at the tall buildings and clean streets. "Where are we going?" she asked curiously. "You'll see," Arman said, smiling. After some time, they stopped in front of a big school. The gate had bright colors and children laughing inside. Rani's eyes widened. "Is this a school?" "Yes," Arman said gently. "Do you want to study here?" Rani froze. Her tiny lips trembled. "Me? But I can't. I have no money." Arman knelt down so their eyes were level. "Listen to me, Rani. You don't need to worry about money. I will take care of everything. All you need to do is study and be happy." Tears rolled down Rani's cheeks. "No one ever asked me this before." Arman gave a soft smile and wiped her tears. "Well, I am asking now." Inside the school, the teachers greeted them warmly. Rani was shy, holding Arman's hand tightly. Other children looked at her curiously but smiled. One teacher asked Rani, "What do you want to become when you grow up?" Rani looked at Arman, then whispered, "I want to help children, like me." Arman's chest tightened with pride. On their way back, Rani looked thoughtful. "Sir," she said softly. Why are you helping me? You are rich, you don't need to care about me." Arman was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Because I once had a little girl too, and she taught me what really matters." Rani tilted her head. "Where is she?" Arman's voice softened. "She's in heaven now. I miss her every day." Rani squeezed his hand with her tiny fingers. "I'm sorry. But I think she is happy because you are helping me." Arman felt his eyes grow moist. He whispered, "Maybe you are right, little one." That evening, Meena prepared a simple dinner. Ronnie helped her set the table, laughing for the first time in many days. Armin watched them with quiet joy. After dinner, Ronnie said shyly, "Sir, may I call you uncle?" Armin smiled warmly. "I would be honored." Before going to bed, Ronnie whispered again, "Thank you, uncle, not for money, but for treating me like I matter." Armin's heart ached and healed at the same time. "Good night, Ronnie," he said softly. That night, as Ronnie slept peacefully, Armin stood near the window, looking at the stars. "Zara," he whispered to the sky, "I couldn't give you the life you deserved, but maybe I can give it to someone who needs it now." A soft wind touched his face, as if the universe agreed. The next morning, Arjun woke early, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today, he was going to take Ronnie and her mother to a new home, a place where they would not have to worry about rain, hunger, or cold nights. Ronnie was already awake when Arjun arrived. She hugged her repaired doll tightly and looked up at him with shining eyes. "Are we really going, uncle?" "Yes, little one," Arjun said softly. "A place where you can be happy and safe." They arrived at a small but beautiful house near a quiet street. The walls were freshly painted, and a small garden with flowers greeted them. Inside, the rooms were simple but clean and bright. Ronnie ran through the house, exploring every corner. "It's perfect," she said, her voice full of wonder. Her mother, Sita, looked around with tears in her eyes. I don't know how to thank you," she said, her voice trembling. Arjun shook his head gently. "No need for thanks. Just take care of Ronnie, and she will be happy. That's enough for me." Ronnie hugged him tightly. "Thank you, uncle. You didn't give me money, you gave me love." Arjun smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. He realized that love could change lives more than anything else. After helping them settle in, Arjun took Ronnie to the school he had arranged for her. The principal greeted them kindly and showed Ronnie her new classroom. Other children welcomed her with curiosity and smiles. For the first time in her life, Ronnie felt she belonged somewhere. "See, little one," Arjun said. "You have a place to learn, to play, and to grow." Ronnie looked up at him and whispered, "I will study hard, uncle. I want to be like you, helping people someday." Arjun's eyes filled with pride. "You already have a big heart, Ronnie. Keep it that way." Back at home, Arjun returned to find Anu waiting for him. She ran into his arms and hugged him tightly. "Papa. Did you help Ronnie?" "Yes, princess. We found her a safe home and a school," he said, lifting her up and spinning her around. "And I think she is very happy now." Anu smiled brightly. "I'm proud of you, Papa. And I'm happy too." Arjun felt a deep sense of fulfillment. His daughter's joy was no longer just about presents or parties. It was about kindness, love, and sharing happiness with others. In the following weeks, Arjun visited Ronnie and her mother often. He would bring books, help Ronnie with homework, and sometimes spend weekends playing games with her. Ronnie's laughter filled the small home, echoing through the garden, and slowly, she began to bloom with confidence and joy. Arjun also spent more time with Anu. They would bake together, read stories, and even take walks in the evening. He noticed how much his daughter loved these moments, how her face would glow when he truly listened to her. One evening, as he tucked Anu into bed, she looked up at him and said softly, "Papa, I like the new you. You hug me, and you care, and you help others too." Arjun hugged her tightly. "Thank you, princess. I promise I will never forget again." A few months later, Ronnie was thriving at school. She had made friends, learned new things, and her laughter could be heard across the neighborhood. Her mother, Sita, worked comfortably now and no longer worried about long nights on the street. Arjun watched them from a distance one sunny afternoon. Ronnie ran around the garden, playing with other children. She paused for a moment, looked toward him, and waved. Her smile was pure and full of trust. Arjun felt a lump in his throat. This little girl had taught him something invaluable. Money could not buy love, but love could create security, happiness, and hope. He returned home, where Anu waited. Papa. Did you see Ronnie? Yes, princess. She is happy, he said, smiling. And so are you. Anu hugged him tightly, whispering, I love you, Papa. I love you too, Anu, he said softly, holding her close. That night, Arjun sat quietly in his study. He thought about the journey from the first time he saw Ronnie near his office gate to this moment when both children were safe, loved, and happy. He realized that wealth was meaningless without compassion, and that every hug, every kind word, was more valuable than any amount of money. For the first time in many years, Arjun felt complete. He had found balance, a life where his daughter felt cherished, a life where a little girl like Ronnie could smile freely, and a life where he could finally feel the warmth of love he had long forgotten. He whispered softly to himself, sometimes, all it takes is one hug to change a life. Outside, the night was calm, stars shining brightly in the sky. Two little girls slept peacefully, dreaming of love and happiness. And in the grand house, Arjun finally smiled, knowing he had done something truly important. Love had won. Hearts had healed. And the world, in its small way, felt brighter.